So hello everybody, welcome back. So third part of this video on the fourth video on food. So before I continue, I wanted to remind you that down below is my email in case that you want to help me out by sending an Amazon gift card. So thank you very much, I really appreciate it. And I'm sorry that this video has been cut up so many times. It's just that we have been having some technical difficulties due to the fact that, I'm having several issues that I'm handling at once. So anyway, I wanted to talk to you a few things that are going to be, I think, interesting for some of you. Well, at least that is what I have been told, by some of the comments. So, so number one, things that you might want to consider about, food and the storage and the cooking process and all of that. Besides, the fact that it will take, a lot of energy and stuff. Some people will store charcoal as well. Charcoal has other uses like medicinal uses, so you might want to check that out, just in case. But remind yourself of talking to your doctor in case that you want to take a look at that one. Anyway, charcoal. And you might want to have there is something that is like a net. I think it's called a splatter or something like that. It is for protecting you from when you're frying things so that the oil, when it splashes, it does not burn you and stuff like that. So you might want to get that. And you also need a first aid kit in your kitchen that is ready in case of you being burned, you being cut, and you having something, stepped in you, kind of like something, hit you or something. And now I'm going to tell you a few things about food and getting food and the evolution of food during these kind of problems. So number one, like I said before, we have been having a very slow economical collapse since 1999. We are currently in 2021. So this has been happening for 22 years. Now, in the beginning, like I said, there were things that were just missing from the shelves, like in a matter of days. And then people started quitting their jobs because you could not be, buying, because you had to, like I said in the other videos about making lines, you had to go the night before, spend the night in the street, literally, trying to get a number so that you can get the shopping the next day and stuff like that. So you could not be at two places at once. So basically you were either making the lines and doing the lines and standing in line, trying to get the products, or you were working. So a lot of people decided that they were going to quit their jobs so that they could buy the things and then they could resell them. This created a black market, and this created a hell of a lot of opportunities for people that wanted to do counterfeiting. And then people were counterfeiting, and then there were several issues with people being dead as a result of consuming things that were counterfeited and stuff like that. This also opened the opportunity for people that wanted to create products that were handmade, like cakes, shampoos, beer, and stuff like that. Again, there were a hell of a lot of people that were intoxicated with injuries and death and all of that, because people are now making beer and making alcohol and stuff like that. And they do not know what the hell they are doing. They just do a YouTube video search and then they did it, and then they think that they are the best and they are selling these things without even knowing what the hell. Because I have told you in all of my videos, most people will tell you what to do, but they will not tell you what not to do, which is more important than what to do. Because if you do it right, but you missed something that you were not supposed to do, then you are now having a problem because whatever the hell you produce has poison on it. and very likely you are going to be, in a hell of a lot of trouble. Some people were making shampoos, because shampoos is one of those things that are disappeared later on. There was like 10 different waves in which each product was disappearing and stuff like that. So the first wave was, like I said, coffee, sugar, milk, and oil, and butter, and maybe a couple of other things and whatever. But the point is that, by wave number 5 or 6, there were no more shampoo, no more deodorant, no more toilet paper, no more anything that had to do with cleaning products, not even laundry detergent and stuff. So it was a very healthy, sanitary kind of situation in which people did not afford anything. And so shampoos were being made by people, and then people that tried these shampoos, they ended up being like no more hair. Like literally, the shampoo was made with the chemicals and everything, but they didn't follow the things that you were not supposed to do. And people that try them, now they have no more hair growing in their heads, and they have burns in their scalps and stuff like that. So it was really, really bad, and that is why, if you are planning on making money through a handcraft kind of industry, you do not want to cash on any of these waves. You want to be there before all of these things happen. So for example, if you want to make soaps made by hand and stuff that are more expensive, and there are things like that, you want to try to make them right now when it is good time, so that people can know your name and stuff like that. And then you will be kind of recognized, and then you will be able to compete, because your ingredients will be natural and things like that. Rather than waiting for hard times, because some people will try your product but others will not, and then other people will actually try to steal your brand name and stuff, and they will put it into their products and stuff, and it's going to be a nightmare for people that they want to keep their name to the product, but at the same time other people will use their name into the product, so stuff like that. So there is going to be a hell of a lot of problems with copyrights and stuff like that, and it's going to be insane when it comes to food and preparations and stuff like that, because everybody will be like this recipe is mine and I'm doing this or whatever, and it's going to be insane. However, like I said, people started importing things, and now everybody is able to buy things in the supermarkets. It's just that they are at probably around 20 to 40, sometimes 150 times the price of the product in the US compared to my country. So it's insane. There was a very good example of this in another country, in Zimbabwe. There was a point in which a laundry machine in Zimbabwe was about $5,000. Right now in my country, it's not, kind of like those prices of stuff, because we are closer to the US and stuff like that. But the prices are very, very high compared to the US. So basically, try to imagine you going shopping in the US, the same prices, but probably around 20 to 40% more in most things. And then try to compare that with the salary of my country, which is about $1 per month for retired people. And people who are working now, they are making about $3 per month. If you have degrees and stuff like that, you might be able to get away with that and make $4 per month. So it's insane. You know what I mean? Because if you're going to buy coffee in the US, if it costs you $5, in here it will be $7 or $8. And several things that are like that. Of course, buying vegetables and things like that are local is going to be cheaper here, obviously. But here is the deal about what happened. There was a hell of a lot of people that were saying that the electrical system was collapsing because of several things. So we started having rationed like blackouts. Like every single day, they will cut down 8 hours of your electricity, and now you have a schedule. So every week, they will change the schedule. So you will know, they will let you know in our web page. You have to print it, and then they will tell you, okay, so today is Monday, you're not going to have electricity from 4 a.m. to 10 a.m. and then you will not have electricity for this block and up to this block, and the timing was anything from 4 hours to 6 hours to 8 hours daily. So they will cut down your electricity like that, and now you have a schedule. Most people were pissed because before these we have blackouts, but we never knew when they were going to happen or what was going to happen. So most people built bucket bags for going to another people's houses for a couple of hours or days while you have electricity problems fixed. So for example, my aunt will go to my house, or for that day, or something like that, or you will go to a friend's house to take a shower because they have electricity and you don't, and stuff like that. So most people were kind of okay because it was not a problem that was national or even the whole state. It was just kind of like your neighborhood doesn't have electricity. Yes, but your mother's neighborhood does have electricity, so all you need to do is go to your mother's. So most people were kind of like that, they were kind of like, oh crap, no electricity. So what people did was calling home or calling a neighbor. They will call the neighbor and ask, do you have electricity? Yes, okay, I go home. And now everybody, when they get out of the work, like at 5 p.m., they will call home and ask, do you have electricity? Okay, no, then we get the bag, we go to another person's house, we spend the night there because they have electricity and stuff like that. And it was chaotic because every single day you didn't know what the hell. So most people were trying to get the electricity with a schedule or something. So the schedule was made, and now, everybody was kind of okay about it. Because now at least you knew that you were going to have electricity in your house, you were okay, you did not have electricity, but now you knew beforehand and stuff like that. So most people started planning, and it was better. However, the people that were in charge of the electricity thing, they said that this problem was not solved, and now you were going to have a major blackout for the whole country. This was happening for about 13 months. Nobody, everybody was kind of like panicking. In fact, a hell of a lot of people that were working with the electricity company, they actually fled the country because of all the trust that they were having or whatever. And at the end, it did happen. We had a national blackout. Now, when we had the national blackout, there was a hell of a lot of things that were going around food. And that is what I'm, of course, there are other topics, but I'm going to concentrate about that one. And it is the following. Number one, try to imagine pharmacies require, refrigerators for medicines that they have that require temperatures like insulin and stuff like that. When they were having all these problems with the electricity, and now you knew that you were not going to have electricity from this time to this time or that time or whatever, most people were able to freeze them or do whatever it takes to maintain temperature and stuff like that, and they were able to kind of manage the situation, because the thing is that it was kind of planned and everything. But at this, and mostly, you have a choice, meaning if I don't have electricity in my house, I can go to my mother's house, or I can go to my best friend's house, or I can go someplace else. But right now, there is no place to go because the whole country is in the dark. So, first things first, you have to realize that most people will run towards getting ice. Now, our blackout started, I think, in the afternoon. I can't remember very well. Quite frankly, all I can remember for those days, it was the uncomfortable that I was feeling all the time. Tired, by the way. I was very, 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 very tired. Like, oh my God, tired, like hell tired. Like in a scale from 1 to 10, I was like number 8 to 9, 10 tired. It was really, really bad. And anyway, so first things first. Most people lost their food, literally. In the first 8 hours, there was no way in hell that you could buy ice. There was no place that you could buy ice anywhere. because as soon as the electricity went out, there was somebody who leaked a video of the problem that happened at the generator plant in Puerto Ordaz, which is the place that generates electricity in my country. And they said that this problem was going to be at least 1 month. So basically, this happened like 4 or 5 hours after there was a blackout. I mean, in the beginning, nobody panicked. But because everybody thought that, okay, so we have no electricity whatsoever, we were kind of like, they were going to fix it. But then on the social media, everybody started saying, oh, hell no, it's not, nobody panicked because we were kind of used to it. But after 5 hours, everybody kind of started panicking when in social media they started saying that the problem was in all over the states, like everywhere. Nobody could believe it. It was like a sense of disbelief. Nobody believed anything. So we checked and triple checked, and then, oh hell, the problem was going to take at least 10 days to fix. Some people were going to have electricity within maybe 5 days, but the bare minimum was 4 days. That was like the hope. The hope for most people was 4 days, but not everybody was going to get electricity no matter what. So there are places that after that day, they did not have electricity at all. So you are not going to get electricity back to your house, no matter what the hell you do. So depending upon where you were, you are either lucky or unlucky. And the thing is that after 6 hours, when everybody knew that this was a massive thing, everybody ran to the supermarket at night, and they bought all the ice. In the morning, nobody, and I do mean nobody had, a good night's sleep or whatsoever, because obviously, nobody had anything. There was no sense of panicking or shots fired or anything like that on day one, like night one. But on day two, like in the morning, oh hell, all places that sell food that ready to go, like bakeries and stuff like that, those places were packed. My God, there was lines to try to get there, to try to get food that was already made. Nobody, and I do mean nobody wanted to cook. Nobody wanted to buy food that was, refrigerated. And the supermarkets were going crazy because they did not have enough fuel in their generators and stuff like that to power the refrigerators that they were working with, because the places are too big and now they require more power and now they have more people. So basically, all of the food that was in the supermarkets that was cold, and I do mean cold, like yogurt, eggs, cheese, certain juice, milk, not powdered milk, but liquid milk and stuff like that, they were all bad. Like at noon, they were all bad. In fact, the supermarkets, they don't know what the hell to do with that merchandise, because nobody wanted to buy them because there was no ice to keep them. So a hell of a lot of people were losing a hell of a lot of money because the supermarkets were supposed to sell all of these things, but now nobody's buying them. And they have to pay the suppliers. But the suppliers were kind of like, I gave you the merchandise, you were supposed to sell it, what did you sell, what are you returning? So now the suppliers are getting all the merchandise that is bad returned because of the problem with the electricity. This is going to create a hell of a legal matter for a hell of a lot of people, especially when it comes to meat. Because most people that sell you meat, they will kill the animal, they will sell it to you in the supermarket, but on a lease kind of thing, meaning you sell it and then you pay me. But now the supermarket cannot sell it, and they are not liable, but they will be, because they are supposed to provide the refrigeration. So the refrigeration was a huge problem that created legal emptiness, and now nobody could buy meat or anything that had to do with cold. And this was a problem because now You couldn't find anything that was cold. Now, try to imagine right now. Think, close your eyes and pause this video, and for 1 minute, think everything that requires refrigeration when it comes to food, but not in terms of your house, which is bad enough because like 90% of people lost the very little food that they had. They lost it. They lost it that day because they didn't have ice, because whoever had money bought all of the ice that day. The same day, by hour number 7 or 8, if you had money, you bought all the freaking ice. And people that have fridges, they were producing ice in those fridges to sell, and they sold them, all of them, that day. So basically, ice will be gone in hour number 9. If the ice is gone and you have no electricity and no refrigerator, try to imagine that in a supermarket kind of level. You can't buy meat. You can't buy eggs. You can't buy dairy. You can't buy cheese. You can't buy anything cold. The beers, anything, and I don't mean anything that requires a little bit of the refrigerator thing, they were damaged. They were damaged at noon of, day 2. So day 1, people didn't care as much. People just went out of the life. And then hour number 9, in day 1, people bought all of the ice. And then night number 1, most people didn't sleep at all. Most people were panicking. And then day number 2 of this problem, noon, if you buy it. Oh, and by the way, lines in the supermarket are literally, we had to go to a supermarket. By the way, most supermarkets will not be able to open because they do not have generators to be open. So if you don't have generators, how the hell do you open the place? So half of the supermarkets did not open at all. And in fact, if you were in a supermarket, near those supermarkets, you will see the National Guard, and you will see police and people, and a hell of a lot of people protecting those areas because they knew that they were going to be looted. And so you will see people armed, trying to protect that thing until they were able to fix a generator or bring generators. And generators were being sold for $5,000. Generators that are worth $300 or $400, they were being sold for $500, and people bought them because they knew that this problem was going to be at least a month. And they were thinking, some people even said that the problem was even bigger, and they were going to even call a Japanese company so that they could produce the tower, and it was insane. They were also saying that the communication towers were going to be working for only 2 days or 3 days tops. So now you have severe problems. People are panicking, and they are having accidents because they are trying to get cell phone coverage for the data services, because not knowing what is happening and not knowing what is the update and things like that is going to kill people, literally. So people were completely crazy, trying to know where the hell to get ice, which was nowhere to be found. And even if you had all the money in the world, nobody will sell you ice. Without ice, you don't have ice chest and you don't have food. Now, like I said, people were not buying the meat. People were giving up all of their food. People were throwing away food. People were crazy about the whole topic with the food situation, because some people grilled the food. Other people were teaching other people how to smoke the meat so that you can save it. Other people were trying to cook it, but the problem is where you cook it. Once you cook it, where the hell are you going to put it if you do not have a fridge? So there was all these problems about how to make this food that you have that is perishable last you more than 12 hours, which, by the way, is impossible. So not happening. So a hell of a lot of people started selling meat for a quarter of the price. So if before you paid $1, now you're paying a quarter of a dollar. So most people that were poor decided to go along with that, and they decided to eat all the meat, even though that it was bad, and even though that we have all these problems, they decided to do that because that is what you could afford. And now people are making lines and actually fighting other people for buying the meat that is gone bad because it is not refrigerated. And this created a hell of a lot of other new opportunities for making money for some other people, so it was insane. Because at this point, what some people did is that they realized that the rich people need food, and they need it fresh. There is no way in hell that a rich person is going to pay 25 cents of a dollar for the meat that is $1 just because it is cheap. So hell no, it's either fresh or not happening. So people that were in the countryside, they realized that there is a hell of a lot of money from rich people and stuff like that in the cities. So they actually went in groups of 400 and 600 people, and they attacked all the farmers that had cows and stuff like that. So they killed all the cows and they brought it to the cities and sold it because they were fresh. Like literally, they did this like 6 in the morning, 8 in the morning, they had everything ready, and now they're in the city and they delivered everything fresh, and because they're fresh, the rich people paid, more. So now the countryside has no cows, no chickens, no nothing, because they were stolen, killed, kidnapped, whatever the hell you want. And because, rich people are paying for fresh things, and now the whole thing with the production is changing. And the producers that already gave the meat and everything to the supermarkets are now in debt with their suppliers. The suppliers are in debt with the supermarkets. The supermarkets do not know what the hell to do. Nobody knows how to handle the situation with the food. So what people did with the cheese that was white, it was very weird because people will not stop consuming cheese, especially if it is white. So what people did in order for them to maintain the whiteness and maintain the white cheese is that they added hydrogen peroxide to the cheese when they were making it. So now you have cheese that it is completely white. It looks very white. It looks fresh. It smells fresh. It won't have bacteria or anything like green growing or whatever, because it has hydrogen peroxide, which will kill bacteria and stuff like that. But now you have a counterfeited product that everybody is buying, and the product is altered. So you're consuming hydrogen peroxide, which is not meant for being consumed. And the whole situation with the cheese was totally like insane. So now people had to learn how the hell to deal with the counterfeited cheese, and how to know if the cheese was bad and stuff like that. And it was bad. Oh my god, the whole situation with the cheese, it was insane. So everybody wanted to consume yogurt, but nobody had the refrigerator for the yogurt thing. So one of the companies created a yogurt that does not require refrigerator. And oh my god, that it was called migurt instead of yogurt. It's called migurt. So the migurt, oh my god, it was like a boom. Everybody bought the freaking yogurt that didn't require a refrigerator, and you can just take it with you all the time, and no matter what, it will not go bad. And unless you put it like in a hot place, it will be, hot place will make it bad. But normal way, like temperature and stuff, you can just grab it from the shelf and take it and drink it. And it was so freaking good. And oh my god, it was like a sensation. So that was the only yogurt that you could buy that was actually good, stuff like that. So if people could go back, what they did is that now, once the power was restored in some parts of the city, and I do mean some parts of the cities, some parts of the city got electricity after day number 4. Other parts got electricity after day number 7. Others after day number 10. And others after day number 14. others after day number 35. So 35 days with no electricity in certain parts of the city. And there were other parts of the cities that, especially in the countryside, that they just didn't get the electricity back, at all. So, like I said, it will depend upon where you were or whatever. Also, during this time, I can tell you right now that water, at that point when there was no electricity, the first thing that disappeared was ice. The second thing that disappeared was water. The third thing that disappeared was anything that was, how to put it, frozen, but that you could use immediately. It was gone, like that. And after that, nobody bought anything that was, how to put it, anything that was like too much effort to cook and stuff like that. Yeah, nobody bought that. So, because, it will take more energy and it will take more time, and it also will create a hell of a lot of trouble for cleaning. What people worry the most on day 2, at this point, where I'm talking about going to the supermarket. By the way, if you are going to the supermarket, like I said, you will face 2,000 people trying to get into the supermarket with you, and the lines to try to pay are insane. Oh, and by the way, if you have things in your shopping cart inside the supermarket, like certain canned food or whatever, yeah, because everybody wants to buy the same things as you, now you have to guard that thing, because people will pass you by and they will grab things from your shopping cart, because now you cannot get in the aisle. So let's say that you have literally, I'm not freaking joking, the supermarket that we went to, because we had to go that day. By the way, everybody will be with the freaking kids, including me. I was there with my kid, my mother, and me. It was the 3 of us, and it was completely, totally insane. There was at least 25 people, including my mother, that were having problems breathing, high blood pressure. They were about to fade. They were insane. But it was like it caught everybody off guard, including us. And it was insane, because you were seeing kids, jumping and hitting things and causing accidents all over the supermarket. This includes, bumping into you, grabbing things. There was a hell of a lot of people inside the supermarket that were asking for the security tapes, because they were missing things from their purses and their wallets and stuff like that. Because there is so much people that the pickpocket is going to happen. And also, like I said, there was other people that were pissed because they had like 5 tuna cans, and now they only have 1, or they have neither. You have nothing when you go to pay for them. And by the way, now there are 2 lines. One line that you're making. This supermarket, try to imagine, this supermarket has, I'm not joking, this supermarket has 24 cashiers. 24. That is the freaking size of this place. This place is the size of a small mall, okay? But this place had literally, I could count them just by looking at it, and it will be at least 600 people inside trying to get things. And now you have, like I said, 2 types of lines. The ones that are for, you going into the cashier and the cashier asking you how much it is or whatever. But because there are problems with the electricity, that means communicational problems. That means that you cannot pay, because you can't have 24 lines, like independent kind of lines, trying to get to the bank. So now you can only have 1, because the communications lines is too small, it's working only one way. So basically, you have the main manager's point for them to pay, and then you have the individual cashier points. The individual cashier points are not working, because the cell phone towers are not working, the communication towers are not working, they all work with electricity, so the communications are very limited. So they can only take 1 operation at a time. That means that every single person from the cashiers have to go and make the line so that they can pay through the manager's office. So you basically got, you make the first line, which is about 150 people. Then they will give you a number. They will say, okay, this is your ticket. This is the amount that you're supposed to pay. So now you go to the second line. The second line is about 50 to 60 people. And it is about you trying to get your freaking debit card, credit card, debit card, whatever payment, so that you can go to the back to the cashier and retire and make the retirement of your products and stuff, and then you can go. 3 problems. Number 1, like I said, when you are making the line, most people try to imagine. I said already that there are over 600 people that want 50 products that are on the shelves, and of course everybody wants them. So there were people that were complaining that you were talking to someone and you look at your car and now the tuna can that you got is gone. You got, I don't know, a corn can or whatever, and now it's gone. So basically you're making the line for getting 3 or 4 things, and they are not there anymore because somebody that just passed you by grabbed them. So number 2, the thing is, like I said, you are making this line and then you go and make another line. When you go and make the other line, you already have these products in this list, but they are there. You can't take the products and go because you haven't paid them. But while you're making the other line, there were a hell of a lot of people that grabbed these products that were yours because you are paying for them, but they left with the products. And now when you go and grab your bags are not with the entire products that you were supposed to have. So let's say that you pay for 40 products and they are in 4 bags. Each bag is supposed to have 10 products. But when you grab the bag and now you pay for it, that thing has, one of the bags has 7 products instead of 10. One of the bag has 9, the other one doesn't have 10, so it's like insane. And you already paid and you can't complain because the managers are like, I'm sorry, you what? I'm sorry, but it says here that you already took it, I can't complain, and it will be a hell of a lot of issues. So you need to go at least 3 people. 1 people that will stay there watching the freaking bags. Once they already, scan the product, you need to make sure that whatever it is on your bag is still there after you pay, because as soon as you are outside or as soon as you pay, the manager will not answer for whatever missing products that you have. So it's insane. Trying to go through all of these things is insane. So we made the line, and my mother had this, blood pressure thing, whatever, and my neighbor was, we had to call him so that he will pick us up because the parking lot was too full and he couldn't, just walk around in the neighborhood with the car and stuff. So we told him to go home. Now I told him to, get here so that he could pick up my mother. And there were a lot of people that were doing that, with the elderly and stuff. They were like, come pick them up. And then I had to deal with all of these things by myself. But luckily, I knew 3 or 4 people in the supermarket. So I asked them to help me out, and they did. And so, I was able to do this thing. But at the end, I lost a couple of products from the shopping cart because when we scanned them, we missed them. And my mother was like, where the hell is that? And then I was like, oh, my mom, they didn't charge you for this. So that means that somebody stole those from the shopping cart before we scanned them. So it's going to be insane. So what can you do to prepare for this? Is just, number 1, try to buy ice makers that you can connect to your car or whatever, because ice is like, it's like insane. You could trade ice for, oh hell, for all I know, you can trade it for a bottle of wine. Ice is like insane. So get freaking ice. Number 2, know which places will be open to have food that is ready to deal with the problem, especially if you have kids, because if you wake up in the morning and you realize that the problem is serious and you have 3 or 4 kids with you, and it's insane because at this point there were people that were charging you $10 for 1 sandwich, and people were paying it because of desperation. And then you go home and then you realize that you spent $60 into a freaking breakfast. And the $60 was supposed to be, for your whole month worth of food. But out of desperation and out of you trying to get the kids out and stuff like that, you will do crazy things. So especially because you will feel tormented in your head, and you will feel like, I don't know what to do. In fact, like I told you, I wasn't even myself in the supermarket, especially when I was trying to watch my kid. Oh, and by the way, the kids will be missing the supermarkets and stuff like that, and then everybody will panic, and everybody will start screaming and stuff like that. But luckily there are cameras and stuff. But oh hell no, the missing kids is going to be like a hell of a nightmare. Oh crap, oh no. So I was watching my kid the freaking time, and because I was watching my kid, I couldn't wash the freaking shopping cart, and we were missing products that we needed. So choices. If the product is something that you really, really need it, like a medicine or something, you need to go back. You need to go back to the same supermarket, do the same line, do the same process, and you are going to be wondering if you're going to find that thing, because now you probably will not find it. So if you got the last can of tuna and you really needed that, and it got out of your trolley because you didn't see or whatever, you're not getting that tomorrow. Especially because, now there will be more people, and the managers are being forced, with the police and everything, the managers are being forced to basically take everything that they had in the back, in the storage rooms. They have to take out everything to sell it. And now you have, the National Guard, the police, people with guns and everything, and with the kids near you, and you're going to feel anxious, and the air conditioners are not going to be working while you're shopping, and it is going to be a hell of a nightmare. Because the problem, like I said, is the choices. Everybody thought that this thing was just normal. And we were ready for it. We were like, what the hell, another blackout, what more? But when people started realizing that it was not just a regular blackout, but now there is no more, refrigeration. When people realized that there was not going to be any refrigeration, by the way, this happened, like I said, in hour number 6, when somebody leaked the video of what was actually happening. Yeah, that's when things are going to panic like really, really bad, because people with money will pay anything for their fresh fruit, their fresh anything. And, other people that do not have money, they're going to be stuck with the consequences. And the countryside is going to be assaulted by all the people in the city that want to sell the products for the rich people because they want to make the money. Because if before you could sell the meat for $1, now you can tell the rich people, oh no, I'm selling you that for $5. Because, I had to go to all this trouble. Yeah, and rich people are going to be like, can you get me more? Kind of like that. Because, rich people are not going to stop having, their life altered or whatever. They're going to pay. And there will be hundreds of mercenaries that will just loot the countrysides or do whatever the hell it takes for these rich people because they have money. And that's why I told you that in the countryside you are not going to find food. You are going to find it in the cities. The problem is you're going to need a hell of a lot of money. Now, water, oh hell, water is another issue. But, another video for another day. So I just wanted to tell you all of that. And then I will tell you other things for the food. And, I hope that this is helpful somehow.